What's happening? Andy here. I am joined today by Rich Reamer, Senior Director at Canon USA in the large format group. How are you, Rich?
I'm doing great. Good to see you. It's been, gosh, I can't remember, a year, more
It's
than a
been a
year.
while. It's been way over a year at this point. It doesn't seem like
Yeah.
that long, but I'm trying to remember the last conference we were at. It's been ages at this point. Uh, we always check in with you, get updates along the way of a lot of the products that you guys come out with, the large format, and you guys have something pretty new to talk about. So there's a GP series that recently came out, and I thought maybe we'd have you on the show and talk a little large format with you and find out a little bit about this product.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity. And it's something we love talking about because it's such a huge change. It's something different. When you look at the large format market and you look at the competitors that are out there, the last few years, the game has basically been replacing printers, right? You come out with a printer that might be faster, maybe it's a little bit more compact, maybe the color gamut got a little bit bigger, maybe it's easy to use. And then from a marketing perspective, of course, you want to expand your placements, but it's a replacement game, and that has what's been happening in the market for the last few years. And for us, it's been an exciting year because we started off earlier in the year launching the new TZ series. And that was an expansion of our lineup, and really felt that was an answer to the market where you kind of have the LED CAD market and the high volume inkjet CAD market kind of coming together, and they needed a hybrid to bridge them together, and the TZ was there. So that product is launched. It's doing great. And once again, we introduced something called the GP series, which is not a replacement product. It's an addition to the lineup, and it's really looking at the marketplace and what's going on. It's an answer to what's needed for these businesses that are out there. And you might not realize, but we all are getting older, and younger generations are growing in population. And when you look at the US population, Gen Z and millennials make up about 48% of the total US population. So, while some are still in school, a lot of them are getting out there in the workforce. The two together account for about $350 billion in buying power. And so that it doesn't mean that that's who's buying the printers, but that's who's out there going to restaurants and malls. And so when printing posters, signage, communication, you have to be able to attract them and get their attention. And, they're different than other generations and what they're attracted to, what they react to. And, they react to very bold type of colors. If you look at teenage type of celebration events and things like that, whether it's a sweet 16, a bat mitzvah, bar mitzvah, you see themes that are very bright pink, bright green, bright purples. And, the printers that are out in the marketplace today do a pretty good job of trying to produce those colors, but they can't fully get to that true vibrant neon type of color. And so, Canon Ink did some great research, came up with the idea of adding fluorescent pink ink to a few different models. We basically took the Pro Series, that basic architecture, the 11 colors. They took out the chroma optimizer and a few of the colors, added fluorescent pink ink, an orange, a green, a UV. And they were able to tremendously expand the gamut. And, they have something called radiant infusion, which is basically the technology of mixing in the fluorescent pink ink with these other colors, because you would think it's simple, but, when mixing that color with others, there's a little bit of technology behind it. And that's what gives you just bright and vivid colors. We also took our TM series, which has really been geared towards the CAD and AEC market, and kept the colors as is, but added a fluorescent pink ink in that as well. And so now there's these 4 new printers that are out there that can be used for creating colors that really couldn't be achieved, before this was released. And with this, we teamed with Pantone. That's so we could achieve a few of their certifications and be calibrated to their technology. And so we're very excited about the GP series. We just started shipping. So many people are just seeing it for the first time, and we weren't sure how the market would react, because we knew the market is, you know, when you walk into, for instance, a sneakers shop, right? Take a look next time. You'll notice sneakers on the wall that are bright pink,
Oh
bright
yeah,
green, bright yellow,
yeah.
right?
The brighter the better now,
Um,
right?
yeah, and
Yeah.
so I think people really don't realize that, and so if you're a print for pay and you're building signage for your local stores and stuff, you want to be able to reach those colors, and so, you know, we have our GP 2000 and GP 4000, which are the 11 color plus the fluorescent ink, and those are a perfect solution for print for pay. If you're a corporation who's designing certain packaging that has these bright colors, could be makeup, could be some type of clothing, you know, you're able to produce those colors from a concept right there in your office. If you're designing clothing and you're trying to reach those colors, you have that capability. So very excited about that. And then we have the GP 200 and 300, which is the 5 colors plus fluorescent pink ink. And those are great for those that are trying to do vibrant and kind of value added posters in house. Could be schools, right? That's part of the Gen Z age, K to 12. And those kids will react better in class for learning with being able to achieve these colors. Could be restaurants that are putting up, you know, trying to attract people outside. I mean, COVID has kind of quieted the restaurant scene, perhaps during the lunch hour. It's probably back to close to normal for dinner. But you know, one thing we learned during COVID is signage is key. It's very
Yeah,
important.
it had to, you know, it was even more important than ever, right? And it
Right.
had to be disposable because the rules were changing all the time. So tell me a little bit more about you know, how Gen Z has impacted this, influence this. How did you come across it? I mean, obviously, I get it. You know, I'm totally hip and cool, and obviously with it. But as far as you guys, how did you come across this, and what led to you know, going down this path where, you know, we've got amazing colors. We're a leader in colors, but there are other colors that we need to produce. It would be helpful. You know, our printers, our customers would love to do these things. You know, how did you go down this path? A lot of you know, we're all looking for new opportunities, and we've seen metallics start creeping into things, and I've seen you guys do that over the years, and do some real
Right.
neat things down in your Miami location, Boca location. But you know, can you share with me how you came to this focus on these two generations, and the impact you think going forward as far as you know, your plans?
Yeah, well, I mean, Canon Ink is, you know, they're experts in ink and ink formulas, and so, you know, when you look at the marketplace and you look for, you know, what is needed in the future, right? I talked about everything being a replacement type of market, but as manufacturers, you're looking to not only expand business for yourself, but you want to be able to help your customers. And when you look at what they need and what they're facing, you see technology that's out there from, you know, could be toner, could be other types of ink, outdoor ink, and you see different colors being offered now and different types of technology. And so, you know, just taking a closer look at the trends that are going on, you want to look at who is the audience that's ultimately looking at this, you know, signage, at posters, who's going into stores and buying clothing today and things like that. And, you know, you begin to realize that things are changing, and it's a different generation. And like I said, 48% of our population are these two younger generations that are coming in, and so you have to adjust your business because ultimately the end customer is changing, right? It's We realized, you know, most likely Gen Z and millennials aren't buying our printers, but they're the ones that are influenced by the print that's coming out there. And
Yeah,
so I think when you look at the industry and you see some of the added toners and some of the other colors that are out there, you know, you start to see, well, how can we add additional colors and have a positive effect on the marketplace? And so I think just from research alone, it seemed to really make sense.
well, are there other fluorescents that you can do, or possibly down the road you're exploring? Obviously, I could think applications for the yellows, right? Especially with construction, and you're already working with construction with the CAD and some of the other applications, they're already using you, right? So are there other fluorescent type of colors that you're able to do or that you are considering?
Well, I mean, having the fluorescent pink, I think, really gives you the ability to get vibrant and neon type of colors, whether it's an orange, a yellow, your greens, your blues. So even though it's, I talked about that radiant infusion technology
Yeah.
of mixing in the fluorescent pink ink with these other colors, and that allows you to achieve a lot. So right now, this is new for us. It was a big step to come out with
Yeah.
such a different type of ink. And so the focus is really there. As I mentioned, Canon Ink certainly is an expert in ink technology, and so you never know what that could mean for the future. But right now, this is kind of the main focus, and we're trying to see how the market reacts to it. And there's just been a lot of excitement early on from it.
So what kind of cool applications, what kind of neat things have you seen from your customers, or are you expecting from them with this? You're just starting to roll it out and put it in their hands now. Has anything maybe surprised you, or they came back to you and you were like, wow, that's really cool?
One thing you don't know what to expect, right?
Yeah.
Everyone knows what they have to produce for their customers. But, you see, I golf and I'm terrible, right? So I buy fluorescent golf balls so that they're easier to find. And so I did see someone made their own customized packaging for golf sleeves
Yeah.
because it's very easy. You combine it with, say, a Graph Tech cutter. And we offer a solution where it's very easy to print our printer and then have it cut up. And so I saw someone actually customize a sleeve of golf balls, and then it was neon color. It actually had the neon golf balls in there. And so for special events and things like that, you're able to customize things for your customers. That was something that instantly came to mind.
Yeah.
But really, I think retail signage, when you're walking through a mall, I think people don't realize how much you're affected by an effective sign, right? It grabs your attention. You're walking in to go get a pair of shoes at Nordstrom's, and all of a sudden you see this sign advertising for new iPhones or something else. And, you go into a mall and all of a sudden you're going into a different direction than you anticipated. And that's the power of these point of purchase signs. And so I think as time goes on, we're going to see a lot of unique type of applications, but the most common one is really going to be this retail signage application.
That's going to be cool to see that roll out, and I'm sure we'll notice it. When you're out in retail locations, and you're starting to see. I mean, we're already seeing the signage get bigger and better, every year, and Canon is a leader in that, and I do miss that trip we take every year where we get a real nice update on everything you've done the previous year, and so we're kind of lacking in that, and hopefully next year we'll be able to get on track with that, because we have just seen some pretty cool stuff from you between that and the Canon Expo that you guys generally do every 5 years or so. It's you're one of the leaders, and you're never shy to come out with a new product, a new technology that just sort of kind of blows people away a little bit. So thank you very much for coming on, sharing this with us. The wide format's always been something I think has been one of the things that sets Canon apart, right? There's not a lot of companies that do it, and right now, you barely alluded to it, but I'll mention it. I know several dealers that are just crushing it right now with wide format. It's you get that rare point in time, where you get to actually walk into a customer who you sold to 3 years ago, and what you sold them 3 years ago was awesome, but what you're going in with now is so much faster and better, and in many cases less expensive than what they've been using, that you can really take steps out. You can I know a lot of dealers that are just going in, and the time savings and the cost savings, these are no-brainers in many situations. So wide format at this point, large format for your group, as you guys like to call it, it's it's a hot spot, I think, in this industry, and you just you just took it up another level with these fluorescents and the capability that you're adding to them. So very cool. Thanks for sharing that with us. And any last messages, anything you want to kind of shout out or share before we wrap up?
Well, just to, to put on top of your message about dealers getting in and killing it in this industry, it's so true. It's low acquisition cost, and it allows them to put more products into their customers or differentiate from, competitors that are out there. It's such an easy product to sell. It's such an easy product to service. And so really, if you're not out there pushing large format today, it's something, there's not only Canon out there. We obviously would love to have you push Canon, but it's a great solution, and it really helps you differentiate and keep your foot in the door.
Well, one last thing is, it's not even just that it's, we kind of, as an industry, sort of push that over towards construction and engineering, but we did a great project together several years ago at this point, where a long time ago, because I was actually working out at the gym that we worked with, right? We got one of your large format printers put in there, and overnight this gym went from having just plain black and white, 8.5 by 11 copies all over the walls with notes and menus and things like that for their juice bar, to all of a sudden just beautiful posters, right, that looked like they had been sent out, and every day they'd have more show up. And he bought that printer at the end of that case study, if I remember correctly. So it's not a product that necessarily goes into the places that you think. It's something that, especially now with COVID, with signage and retail, you don't need massive posters. You just need the ability to print something that looks professional and get it up on those walls. Now you don't want to send out for it. You don't want to plan a week ahead, and sometimes you just can't. So there's a ton of other areas that I think people maybe traditionally haven't thought of for large format, but going forward, just what an opportunity. And then back to that whole point we were just making earlier, which is the technology that you guys are selling now is so much better than it was 3 years ago. And it's just one of these rare points in time where you have a product that's significantly better, generally cheaper to run, and takes hours, if not days, out of customer print jobs, right? Who wouldn't want to do that? And then so it's just that rare opportunity. So nice job on the inks. The printer looks great. Hopefully I'll get up to Melville and I'll be able to see it sometime sooner than later, but we'll get there. And we got to start doing these visits and these in-person demos, because I feel like once every year or two is just not often enough. You guys have a lot going on up there. Thank you, Rich.
Yeah, I agree. And thank you. Appreciate the opportunity. It's always great to talk to you.
Awesome. Good seeing you. And we will talk soon. Take care. Say hi to everybody.
I will. Take care. Thank you.
Bye.
So long.